Redlining. It is the consequence of pushing and pushing and pushing until you just can't go anymore. And whenever you redline a vehicle, what happens is it burns out, the engine combusts and explodes, and the car won't work anymore. So redlining is a concept that we talk about when it comes to humans and the way that we push ourselves and drive ourselves until we burn out. You guys have probably all have heard of burnout, entrepreneurial burnout, creative burnout, all these ways in which we exhaust the resources we have at a huge cost. For me personally, one of my greatest assets and skill sets is my endurance. It's something that I've known since I was younger. It's something that has stuck with me throughout the course of my life, is my ability to simply push through resistance for as long as I possibly need to. And for a long part of my life, I've considered this to be a really great quality character asset. And it's served me in a lot of capacities. In times where some other people might give up or some people didn't have the tenacity to see something through, I found myself navigating and having the endurance to push through those situations. Maybe you're a person like that as well. Maybe you just never quit. You never give up. You just keep going. You wake up early. You go to bed late. You do whatever it takes to get the job done. To me, these are all examples of having high endurance and an ability to keep pushing no matter what. However, and I've realized the consequence of this multiple times as an adult, endurance and constantly leaning on endurance does come at a cost. And usually that cost is something that accumulates over time. Most recently, I experienced redlining and burnout after a really, really big push this year in 2021. Through a lot of adversity, through a lot of unexpected circumstances in my personal life and my professional life, there were times where I just put my head down and just kept grinding, kept going. And what it led to was burning out and getting to a place where I didn't have creative energy. I didn't have my vital force available to me anymore. Every time I tried to kick it into that next gear, it just wasn't available to me anymore. Now, the problem with this, and if you're one of these people who leans on your energy and your endurance and your ability to just keep grinding and pushing, is that when you get to that point of burnout, it's not like you can just go to bed early one night and wake up feeling refreshed the next day. Oftentimes, the recovery period for burnout can be weeks, sometimes months. Sometimes, if you don't have the awareness, you can go into a depression, because those of us who are high performers, used to pushing the pedal to the metal over and over again, day in and day out, the moment that our body and our energy fails us and we can't do that anymore, suddenly we don't know who we are. Suddenly you can go through an identity crisis. I know a lot of people, just like myself, when we go through burnout, we feel powerless. We feel powerless to address the problems that are facing us. I don't know how to tackle the issues and challenges I have in my life when I don't have my energy and my resources available to me. I don't know how to tackle these problems when I don't have the ability to just keep driving and pushing forward. So redlining is a real thing. Burnout is a real thing. And if we don't know how to manage our resources, our energetic resources better as humans, at some point it's going to catch up with us, just like it caught up with me this year. So I'm putting out this cautionary tale to any of you guys out there who are just like me, who are all about grinding and pushing forward and squeezing every last bit of juice out of that berry of life that you carry within your body, to let you know that at some point that's going to wear itself thin. And if and when that happens to you, it's not going to be an easy bounce back. There is no simple recovery from burnout, because it's the result of an accumulated amount of time of not taking care of your baseline needs. If you're in a place right now where you can see this coming down the road, you hear this message and you're like, man, Jeddy's describing me to a T. This is exactly the way that I do life, and I've been doing it for a long time. In fact, I'm already starting to feel the effects of fogginess in my brain, feeling like no matter how good of a night's sleep I get, I never quite feel refreshed, feeling like your outlook on life is getting a little bit more contracted and dull. Those are like some of the end of the line indicators that burnout's about to happen. At least that's how it occurred for me. So if you see that happening, then I encourage you right now to give yourself a day, give yourself a full day to put things down, to take your foot off of the gas for a minute, to get some perspective. If your body says, I need a nap, take a nap. If your body says, I need more water, drink more water. But give yourself a full day. If you can give yourself a full weekend where you turn off your phone, turn off your technology, and just listen to your body, I guarantee you that your body's going to tell you what it needs. And if you spend a whole weekend just laying in bed and taking naps and waking up and getting some fruit and then going back to bed and then waking up and taking a shower and then going back to bed, maybe that's exactly what your body needed. And I'm not saying that you got to spend the next week doing this. Just take 2 days of your life to take care of yourself and listen to your body. And maybe what your body says is, all right, we're done taking naps. Now I want to just go for a walk outside. Now I want to reach out to my best friend that I haven't spoken to in months. Whatever that is, give yourself the permission to listen to your body, because your body's always talking to you. And for those of you guys who can relate to being a high performer and having a lot of endurance, one of the things that we do in order to keep pushing is we turn off the alarm systems. It's like we disable the alarms. If you can think about those movies when the plane is crashing and it's going wah, 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 and the person who's trying to save the plane from crashing is like, and he pulls out a wire to turn off the alarm so he can think, right? It's like we ignore the check engine light. We ignore the gas light that's telling us, hey, you're running out of gas, in order to just keep going. You can only do that for so long. The body is telling you what it needs, and at some point you got to pause, stop, and listen. Otherwise, it's going to be like somebody pulled the plug out of you and you literally will not be able to lift yourself out of bed one day, like what happened to me. So, cautionary tale about redlining, cautionary tale about burnout, encouragement, take better care of yourself. I'm not saying that you have to stop driving and performing at a high level, but part of being a high performer is also learning how to refuel your gas tank when you need it, and to never go below a certain threshold, always refilling that tank as you go, because if you don't, you're going to crash someday. It's inevitable. Nobody has an infinite amount of energy as a resource. It just isn't the way the human body works. So I hope you receive this message before it's too late. And if you're already in the red line, if you're already in burnout, then just recognize there's going to be some time where you got to really take care of your body's needs in order to get back on track. But you can do it. I've done it. I've gone through burnout multiple times. What I needed was a hard reset, drinking more water, getting up and exercising, taking a lot of naps, resting my body, and then getting my vital energy back. And whenever you get back on track, I encourage you to consider a pace that's more sustainable. All right, the last thing I did when I was working and grinding and hustling for this amount of time, it made me burn out. So what does it look like for me to create more balance on a daily basis, to refuel as I'm burning fuel, so that you don't end up with an empty tank? All right, take that message in, lock it in somewhere. If you know somebody who needs to hear this because they're a redliner just like me, then send it to them right now. Sit them down, say it's only 6 minutes. Just watch this video because you need to hear the message. And as always, please keep tuning in each and every week for these messages on our Monday morning meditation. Lots of love and blessings to all you guys out there.